Hi everyone, thanks so much for joining us. Happy 4th. It's coming up and I'm here to create a fun project with you to show you how to make a fun summer lantern using our summer lantern die. I've also used the star framelits as well as the circle framelits at the bottom to create a base. Now that's not necessary with this particular die. It's just something that I use to create a different project and you'll see it at the end. Now all the fun that's coming up, whether you're going to a parade, or you're hosting a reunion, or a picnic or a barbecue, this is a fun project you can have walking up your walkway, as centerpieces at the table, or on a garland decorating your outside patio. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the camera overhead and get started. So if you're familiar with the Bigz dies, you know that there are steel rule blades that can cut a good variety of materials. I'm going to use our cardstock, but something like this, since there's no score lines, it's all blades, you can do a few pieces of cardstock. I would say 2 to 3 depending on the weight. So you could do it in red, you could do it in white, and also blue. If it's a thinner cardstock, run them all 3 at the same time and you'll have 3 lanterns ready to assemble. So the blades are all here. If you're familiar with our steel rule blades, they're all right here. So this is going to cut the lantern here. There's another section here that's going to cut the rectangle, and that can either be your border or it can be the handle. And this piece right here is a scalloped edge that will also embellish the top and the bottom of your lantern. And that's the piece right here. So you would need 2 per lantern. If you want it, you could just do one at the top if you'd like instead, but that's what I used on my project here. So it's a 9-inch die, so I have to use the Big Shot Plus, or I could use the Switch machine or the Big Shot Pro. Big Shot Pro is a larger machine. Too wide, obviously, for the regular Big Shot machine. So I'm going to go ahead, since my lantern is white, I'm going to lay my cardstock down with the textured side of my paper against the blades. Okay, so since I don't really necessarily need the scallop to be white, which is right here, my paper wouldn't be long enough to cover that area. I do need the handle, which is the piece right here. So I'm going to lay my cardstock to make sure my cardstock is covering the blade where the handle is, and the whole lantern. The majority of the scalloped edge is also going to be cut, or the whole scalloped edge pretty much is all going to be cut, except for this little section here, and that's only because the paper is not as long, but it's okay because it wraps around and overlaps a little bit. So you can do all of your parts all at one time, and just depending on the color sequence that you're going to be using for your lantern, then you have all the pieces ready to go. So obviously you wouldn't use the scalloped white on top of a white lantern because there wouldn't be a very big contrast. So, but I would have that piece off to the side so I could use it for my next color. So it's going to cut all the pieces. I have one cutting pad on the bottom, and I'm going to have another one on top. That's the sandwich, and I'm going to run it through. Now, don't be concerned with the noise. That's just letting me know that the blades are hitting the paper and hitting the cutting pad. And those are all the straight lines hitting the cutting pad. So you can see a little bit of static here. This is the part that will be my handle. And put that off to the side. Take my cutting pad off. I have the scalloped edge here, and I have the lantern. Now that part cut beautifully. It was with the static, it clung a little bit to the cutting pad, but it's all ready to go. So you can see how beautifully it cut. The pressure from the machine cut all those lines perfectly. Now what I want to do before I start assembling it is I'm going to do my hole punches. Now if you can see on my project, I have the hole punches punched and just randomly, just throughout. They're not perfectly even. They're not lined up exactly. It's just kind of a sporadic way to punch them in. And you can use a star-shaped one if you want, or you can use a tiny star die. Now, if these stars were a little bit smaller, that would have been a cute little embellishment onto the little slits here. But since they're a little bit big, I added them instead as the embellishment, using it as a sticker on there. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how I did that. So just using a basic hole punch, this is the smaller ones. I'm not going to sit and do them all because you don't need to watch me do them all. You just kind of randomly do them. I just did a couple, 2 or 3 on each side, on each little slit. So I just tucked it underneath. It doesn't crease it or bend it at all. And then you just kind of randomly go along, however you'd like it to be, 1 or 2 on each. And just keep going continuously along. Now, you don't need to watch me do all of that, so I have one that's already done. but let me just show you also. So for the stars, what I did is I used our adhesive sheets. So our adhesive sheets is a 6x6 piece of adhesive sheets, double-sided. I laid it on the back of a piece of our cardstock just to create a sticker. So when you're doing multiple pieces or something that's really fine and intricate, it's better to have it easy to go. You don't have to fuss with any kind of glue. So it's already a sticker to go. So what I did is I took, I just did in blue also. I put the adhesive sheet on the smooth side of our cardstock. This is the blue that is from our neutral cardstock pack. I put the adhesive sheet, pull it off on one side, adhere it down, keep that backing on there, run it through the machine. So since the sheet is 6x6, and I knew I would need a bunch of little stars, and it's just good to have on hand for future because it's nothing better than having something that's already a sticker. And then I ran it through the machine using our star framelit. So the star framelit comes in multiple star shapes. They're all nested into each other, and same with the circle die. So I'm going to go ahead and cut them at the same time, just to save time, and I'll let you see how it already creates a sticker. So since it's a thinlet and it's one of our chemical etch dies, I have to use the platform and the adapter A onto my Big Shot Plus because the thinlet are too thin and it wouldn't hit the roller as it goes through the machine. But you still do need, if you're familiar with our machine, you still need a cutting pad on the bottom and one on the top. So I'm going to use the tiny star. I'll just need to cut one because I have some that are already cut. I'm going to use the tiny star for that one. And then I'm going to use the red. Since it's kind of, the cardstock is able to cut 2 at a time of our thinlets, I'm going to go ahead and run that through like that. Actually, I need the bigger one for this size. And then for the opulent glitter silver, I'm going to use this medium size. So since these are all thinlets, and they're all running through at the same time, I'm able to do them all at the same time since they're the same die type. Another cutting pad on the top. And as you can see, it cut them all perfectly. And these are going to go on the handle, so that doesn't really necessarily have to be a sticker. This is the one that's a sticker because it has the adhesive sheet on it. And you always want to make sure the blade is against the good side of the paper. So I have the medium-sized star blade against the actual glitter size. And then I have that one there too. Okay, so now it's all ready to go. So I'm going to go ahead and cut the circle base so I can have the base of the lantern that I used. Run that through. Good side of the blade. Good side of the paper against the blade. It's just a good rule to remember because you're going to want to have that little rule in your mind when you're doing any kind of words so they wouldn't be backwards in the end. Okay, one more thing I do need to die cut is the scallop blue. So since I have two, one on the bottom and one on the top, I'm going to go ahead and just cut one more. Now you'll see the little dots that are still embedded into my die. I could go ahead and take the die pick and they come out easily, but since it's not too heavy a cardstock, I'm not going to spend the time taking them all out, but after this one I probably would, just so the further it gets embedded in there, it doesn't destroy the blade, it's just you won't have your foam protection in there. It'll just be all chewed up if you have to keep picking it out when you have heavier cardstock in there. So to save paper, since this is the only color that I need another scallop on, I'm just going to have a narrow strip of paper covering my scalloped border there. There we go, perfect scallop. I have one previously cut, so that one's ready to go. Let me move all my things aside since I don't need that anymore. And then I can get going. So, I covered up all my stuff over here. So let me just show you how I did this one. This is one that I previously had punched for you just to show you how it all goes. So this is the one that I cut that's a sticker. It's ready to go. Just stick it down. Or I could use some of my express glue, which works perfectly as well. Just put a little dab on there. And just one per side, one per slit. I didn't do more than one on a stripe, I don't think. But it just kind of adds a little embellishment on there. And did you guys know that spangled means embellishment? So Star Spangled Banner, it's perfect for the summer lantern, for the Star Spangled Banner Day. It's an embellished little project that'll be fun for your table or your home decor, inside or outside, wherever you're celebrating. Hang them on your bicycle handles. That'd be kind of cute as you go along the road. If you're in a bike parade, that's another tradition that some people have here. And so we've got all the stars ready to go on there. So next what I'm going to do is I'm just going to roll it. And what I'm going to do, instead of if you notice that I didn't punch any holes here yet, this is the part that has to have an adhesive on there. So I'm going to take our adhesive roller. A little bit more down there. And then I'm also going to do it down here for my blue banner and for the blue border. Now you want to make sure the blue border is against the straight edge is against the straight edge. So I'm going to go ahead and lay that down. Hopefully my head didn't just cover the camera and I leaned over. And then the other one, straight edge against the straight edge. If you're going to a concert, this would be kind of fun to have if they let you bring things in just to kind of decorate. It's fun to have out if you're watching any of your fireworks from your patio, or if you're going to the park. If you have to bring something, it's a fun little gift. You can hostess gift, that'd be kind of fun. You could bring it to whoever's hosting your party if it's not you, if you're going to one. And then just give it to the hostess. Have a little tag with her name hanging off of it, and she can just add it to her decor. That'll save her doing a little added work on her day of celebrating a party. So let me put a little more here. And then I'm just going to roll it so they'll match up. The slats are all the same exact width, so you know it'll match up perfectly. Now I'm going to go ahead and take my little punch and punch these holes here. And if I had one more star, I'm actually going to see if I have it. Thought I could have pulled it off of another one. Oh yeah, I'll just pull it off of this one. Just so it'll all match and go well together. Let's see, I'll put it up there. So that's ready to go like that. Okay, so the reason I wanted to do this is because I wanted to create a base. Now this circle is a little bit wider than the actual diameter of the lantern. So even though I'm going to add it to the lantern, I'm going to trim it around it afterwards. So I'm just going to put a little bit glue on my finger here. So I got it on the edge there, and just for added reinforcements, I'm just going to do a little bit onto the outer edge of the circle. Okay, so for the straight edge of the handle, I like to just kind of manipulate it a little bit just to give it the curve, so I don't have to curve it when it's already on the lantern, so then it'll be ready to go. So I like to match it up right on the same edge as where it's meeting here. So just so the workings of your lantern are on the same side, so where the seam is on the lantern, that's where I'm going to adhere the handle. So there's one handle going to be down on one end of the handle on that side. And then put a little bit more dab of glue on this side here. And I'm going to adhere it there. And while that's drying, I'm just going to trim, see how that's a little bit, and it's not going to be a big deal having it on there. It's just a base because I'm going to be, oops, didn't adhere it enough. It's just going to be a base for what I'm going to add to the actual lantern in the end. I'm going to hold that down so it'll dry. Final bit of trimming here. Okay, so that is all ready and set. The final piece would be embellishing it with all the fun stars that we've already die cut. So it's kind of up to you however you want it. Another fun thing I was thinking, well, that would have been fun if you just kind of do all the entire handle out of stars. That would be kind of a cute little whimsical way. The variety that you could create, you could do the white just like this, and then the one next to it can be red, and then one next could be white again, and one next to that could be, and just have them all on a ribbon and just adhere them to a ribbon. That would be super cute. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere the blue one down against the handle here. And then just add the red one to the blue one. Just need a little bit of express glue because it dries pretty quickly. And once it's down, it's down. That's what I love about this glue. And then the finale would be, my finger's stuck on the inside. The finale would be the silver one. So put a little bit of glue there. And that looks like a star-spangled lantern. How fun is that? Now, if you notice, my sample is just it kind of billows a little bit. What I like to do is I like to just press it down like that, just gently. Now, another way you could do it is soften the fibers by misting it with a little bit of water and just keep doing this. It dries pretty quickly. It depends on how heavy duty you douse it with water, but it just gives it a little bend and it'll stay once it's done. But I'm just pressing it down and going deeper and deeper as I go. You just don't want to crease it. It doesn't turn out bad if it's creased. It's kind of a cute little technique if you pinch it and have a straight line of pinching. So that's something that you would do on the lantern if you're doing it in, I'm sorry, if you didn't, I hope you can still hear me. So I just wanted to, I also cut it in blue just to show you that idea if you had a crease down the center. So you just fold it in half and just kind of gives it a different look to the lantern, a different type of a feel of how it would look when it's all done. Take my folding form crease tool here. And open it back up a little bit. And then you adhere it. So that's another way that you could do it. Let me just adhere it just so you can see what I'm talking about. That kind of gives the lantern the bend already. So that helps you out a little bit in the end when you're assembling. This is something that you could do with the kids. You could have them all pre-cut and let them decorate it. So if you have a bunch of kids at a table, what a fun idea, at the party, what a fun idea to have a little kids table. Have some already die cut and let them decorate. And then let them lay them around the house, and that would be fun. So see how this gives it a whole nother look? That's a different technique of how you could do it. This is a little more smooth. See the difference? That's kind of a fun way to do it. And if you embellished it with white, a whole nother look. So just imagine how cute that would be for any holiday, just depending on the colors. But 4th of July, Star Spangled, having a lot of fun with the fireworks in the background. It's a great, great little project. Let me show you some other ideas that I had done. So for all those individual slats, I did the same idea, but what I had done is I had gone ahead, put adhesive sheets, or you could just use glue, and just cut multiple colors, multiple pieces, and just did every other one red and blue, because the actual lantern was already a white lantern, so I didn't need to do that. So that without the stars, that turns out really cute. That's how it looks without the base too. So there's that one. Another idea I had done is I had done the lantern, but then I cut it in half this way. So here's a full piece already cut. Actually, here's one in red. Cut the whole lantern in half, and then I added another band at the base. So I cut it in half, so it's shorter. Just imagine this is it. And then I put another one down here of the same color. And that created a totally different look. It's like a mini one. How cute is that? Now my friend Taylor here at Sizzix, she and I are big fans of all things teeny tiny mini, and I can't wait for her to see this one. So Taylor, as soon as I'm done with this, I'm gonna have to show it to you. How cute is that? So that's that one. Now one last fun little trick that I did is, remember the scallop that you cut when you're doing your embellishments, or your spangles, I should say, your embellishments for your lantern? How about doing them in all three colors? And that's a fun garland you can have to decorate your home, on the chairs, have the kids hanging them off of their bicycle handles as they go through their bike parade, or decorate your chair if you're sitting on the sidewalk watching a parade. It's a fun little project. All of these are great projects for you to have to enjoy your day with all your friends and family. So when the lights go off and the fireworks start, the reason I did the little base at the bottom is so you can see how fun it turns out when it's dark outside. So adding one of those battery operated lights, because obviously you don't want to add an actual flame, turn it on, drop it in, and have a star spangled 4th of July. So have I inspired you? I sure hope so. Please be sure to let us know if you have any questions, comments. Make sure you put them in our comment section. And if you're using any of the product I used today, be sure to use the code Debbie20 for a great discount. I hope you enjoyed the project. I look forward to seeing anything that you create to celebrate our nation's holiday. Have a safe and happy and healthy star-spangled weekend, and enjoy the holiday season. And also, make sure you tag us on any of your projects.